And this is Billy Gavel for LiveMusicTO in the trenches, sitting here chatting with Tim Deegan. How's it going, Tim?
I'm good, how are you?
Oh, awesome, man. Hanging out here. Kind enough to let my daughters join in. They're going to be very, very quiet, though.
Yeah, you're missing school. I mean, I mean, this is a weekend.
Yeah. It's Saturday today, if their mom is watching. So, what's going on lately?
Lately I've just been kind of relaxing a bit, you know, taking some time to do all the things that I've been missing out on doing while I was working at Much. I mean, it's weird because when you work at Much Music, you're busy, and you get to do a lot of stuff you really enjoy doing, get a lot of opportunities, but also like you don't get to see necessarily all the bands you want to go and see because you got to do other stuff that, you know, work requires you to do, right? Work might require you to go and interview somebody on the same day that like Rise Against is playing, you know? It's like, ugh, yeah, but it's good though. So I've been just doing a lot of that stuff. So. And
as far as the future holds, future plans, you're suggesting that you're going to stick around TV and kind of.
Well, I've got some
keep
plans.
your finger in the pie, sort of thing.
Yeah. I've got some plans to stay in television. I've got a few things I'm working on. It's like, and I'm sure you know that the industry is very top secret, so you can't really talk much until it's kind of like, you know,
until it explodes.
Exactly, and hopefully it explodes.
Yeah. If
not, then I mean, I don't know. I got other options.
Well, I don't think I think most people realize you didn't leave Much Music just to become a beach bum. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have your devious agenda just ready to explode on the world.
I could definitely become a beach bum and be all right with that, or a ski bum for that matter. But yeah, no, I've got some stuff going on that I'm working on. Hopefully it works out. I've got a few different projects actually, and, you know, casting a whole bunch of different lines. And the thing is, I would kind of want them all to work out. You know what I mean? I want to do every single one of them. I've kind of been like that. You know, like I've enjoyed doing Much Music, but like I kind of think that's the best way to live. It's like to have a job for a couple of years and have another job for a couple of years and kind of change it up, keep things fresh and exciting. And there's so many things that people dream about doing in life, or like they wish they would have done that job, or they wish they would have done that job. Like, go and do them all. You know, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I pretty much how I live my life. You know? Not all of it by voluntary design, but I mean that's a great thing about the journey, right? It's not where you end up; it's how many places you get in between.
Exactly, memories you make along the way.
And speaking of which, what favorite band that you've interviewed over the last 4 years?
That's tough. That's really tough because there's so many great interviews and stuff, and some of them are different for other reasons, right? I'd say Headley is one of my favorites to interview just because they are always wild and crazy and fun, and I'm friends with them, so like it's almost just like you're hanging out,
right?
Goofing off, and but then again, like I just mentioned before the interview started, P. Diddy. I was at P. Diddy's house in LA. It was unbelievable. And
did you get lost?
No, well, we were let in, right? And we got like a miniature tour, but it was pretty cool. And I mean, that was a great interview just because like he gave so much in the interview, and you know, it's a great memory. That was like one of my favorites.
Yeah, that had to be surreal.
Oh, it was pretty cool. He had pictures. Check this out. In his like hallway table, like coming into his massive mansion, he had like pictures of like him and Madonna, him and Tiger Woods and stuff. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
He had murals on the wall of like Biggie Smalls and like him like together. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Man. I don't know if I could go to a place like that. I'd just be in awe looking at the pictures.
Oh, it was weird.
But I guess most of these people that you come across are pretty decent people. Once all the hype is gone and they can sit down and just be who they are, you know.
Most people are seriously like really nice people. Like there weren't that many divas, there weren't that many like jerks out there, but like, you know, there were a few.
My kids want to know about Justin Bieber. They want.
She loves him.
You love Justin?
She wants to marry him. Crazy for him.
He's actually a really nice guy. I've hung out with him a couple times, like, you know, like, oh, I hung out with him on the My Date With.
Yeah,
yeah, we got along great. He's a really nice guy. And then like since then, I saw him at Much Music twice since then.
Yeah.
You know, say hi every time and chit chat for a little bit. But yeah, he's a great guy. He's actually really nice.
Talented kid, you know.
He is. I mean, and
6 instruments, self-taught.
Exactly.
Actually.
Sorry.
And the thing is,
people
forget that he actually, like, there's so many bands out there that like create their own music and they try and put it online to get big. And like for so many bands, it doesn't work out. He was lucky enough that he actually did that. He put music online of him, like, you know, non-stop for years before it ended up happening.
Yeah.
So he's a success story, right?
Yeah. He's only 16.
Exactly.
And some of the people say he got lucky when he bumped into Usher, and I think this kid was talented, and I think he was destined for something right from the beginning, regardless of who he hooked up with. He's just so musically inclined.
I think that he's talented, and he had a future regardless of whether Usher helped him, polish that whole thing up.
Yeah,
he got a boost, but he seems like a cool kid to me. Anybody that can teach themselves instruments like that and really hook into the music has got my respect.
For sure.
But the other thing I was gonna, what was your most awkward interview?
My most awkward interview?
I remember the Pretty Reckless interview, and they seemed really standoffish with you. You know what I mean? It seemed like awkward. You were throwing them bones to answer questions, and they were just kind of looking at each other, like there was some secret between them.
Yeah,
and it seemed like Taylor Momsen was really confrontational right from the beginning.
I think it's because the band feels they need to have. They're always like defensive. You know what I mean? They're always in defense.
Because of Taylor Momsen's celebrity in the acting side.
She's only like 17 years old,
Yeah.
maybe 18 now. But like the fact that she's on Gossip Girl and stuff like that, she plays a pretty girl, and then she's trying to show off this like hard rocking girl edge. So I think that she's got to compensate for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it.
And she expects everybody to understand where she's at musically, which is a direct contradiction to where she's at, acting-wise.
Exactly.
People don't know the questions actor, and she seems to get upset at that kind of stuff.
I know, it's weird. I mean, like...
I talked to her at the Black Swan, and she was the same way, She's just very defensive,
She was nice, but I mean, it was a little bit of a different interview. One of my most awkward interviews, though, I don't know if it came across on television or not, but like, I was interviewing Timbaland live.
Yes.
And he was like giving one-word answers, and that's, that's the worst, right?
Yeah.
When people are just not talking.
You got to keep digging at the...
Yeah, he's giving me like one-word answers, and I'm trying. I have to pat myself on the back saying like I did a fairly good job of carrying that interview.
Yeah.
So he wasn't giving anything.
With a smile on your face too.
And then at the very end, I asked him one question about Haiti, and he literally talked for 5 minutes straight, like 5 minutes about Haiti.
Yeah.
Which is not. I mean, like, how are you gonna interrupt him?
I was gonna say, how do you cut Timbaland off when he's talking about Haiti, especially?
Exactly.
It's not the subject, but the time.
I know, and the thing is, like, they were in my earpiece, telling like, Tim, you gotta wrap it up. I'm like, I'm trying. I can't say anything back to them, so I kind of look at the camera. And I'm doing like the whole like, I know.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing I could do. And there was times I'd be like, I'd try and like actually I'd have my hand up, my mouth would be open, like I was trying to say something and cut in, but he'd just keep going. So it was tough. And they'd be like, okay, we're dropping a video. You got some time. He just kept going and going. Like, Tim, we're running out of time again. And I was like, oh my goodness, like
right through the commercial.
I was like, it was getting nerve-wracking, but I mean, it worked out.
And you only have so much control, I guess, especially when you're dealing with big egos.
Exactly. Another one that was a little bit, it wasn't bad, but I mean, like, I felt a little awkward was, I was interviewing Derek from Sum 41 at Warped Tour, and I wanted to ask him about Avril, right, because of the whole split and everything, but I didn't.
And that's kind of your job, as, a music journalist, as it were, to try to get some of the real answers,
Exactly, but the thing is, it was hard to tell whether or not he actually wanted to talk about it or not, and I mean, like, it can be a touchy subject, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of asked a question without asking a question about the album, because he produced that album for her.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I asked the question, but like looking back on it, I'm like, man, I had no guts to go right for it and say, so, Avril, what's up,
But, I mean, do you really want to put yourself in that position too, where you're fist fighting Sum 41?
I know.
Because that interview, I saw that interview, he looked a little... scrunch-faced. I don't know if he was having a bad day or what.
Well, I think it's just like Warped Tour was a lot different experience for them that time around, because they were considered the heavyweights, but they didn't really want to be. They wanted to just like get out there, play the music, do their thing. But it did feel different to them because I think they wanted to be, just like like small time and not be the heavyweights there, but they kind of were. I think they're kind of expecting more like.
And I don't think that's a really realistic expectation for those guys to be the underdogs when they've already established themselves as not being underdogs, so it's kind of insincere.
I think it's just that they kind of like, they had some time off and they're getting ready for the new album and stuff like that, so like, they weren't really promoting an album, so I think they just wanted to kind of get out there, play some music, get in touch with the fans and stuff like that. And I think they also expected, I think a lot of people expected more bands like, to be there, some more of the big name, old school.
Yeah, it was a little light this last year, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, like, I still liked a
good
lot
bands,
of bands.
great bands.
But like, it was a little bit.
But as far as name recognition goes,
a lot of fresher, newer bands.
Right.